Chapter 61. Can't we just talk business properly? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Four brothers came to the door with machetes. Through the glass on the door, they could vaguely see a man standing there, holding something in his hand. The four nodded, and two of them opened the double doors. Boss Hua, don't open the door. The brother at the door has been killed. Hua Wanyan shouted loudly on the intercom in his trouser pocket. It should be the brother in charge of monitoring, but he didn't know what he was doing just now, and only found out now, but the door was already open at this time, and the four brothers saw the man in front of them. With a smile, he carried a golden saber on his shoulder, held two heads in his right hand, and the corpses were lying next to him. Yes, here's your takeaway. Tang Zhe smiled and threw the head out, which rolled onto the dining table in the middle of the hall, immediately dyeing the delicious food bright red. Ugh. Several brothers vomited on the spot, and the clearly visible bones and throats were neatly cut off. Hua Wanyan's face became extremely solemn, and he looked at the takeaway boy not far away, delivering takeaway. Could it be someone from Simmons? He must be crazy, running to his own territory alone. Kill him. Hua Wanyan shouted angrily, there is a road to heaven but you don't take it, there is no door to hell but you insist on breaking in, leave your life behind, let's see what Shimeng can rely on. Tang Zhe was stunned. Hey, Mr. Hua, I'm here to discuss business with you. Hua Wanyan has never seen such a shameless person, holding the heads of his two younger brothers to discuss business. Is this how you discuss business? The four younger brothers in front of him don't care so much, they must avenge their dead brothers. Kill him, maybe Mr. Hua will reward the female college student. Looking at the four knives slashing towards him, Tang Zhe sighed helplessly. I know that there will be a boss like any younger brother, and it will be difficult for people to do it. With a swish, the four people seemed to be suspended, and their raised arms fell to the ground with machetes, and then four heads fell without warning, and the headless bodies spurted blood wildly, as if they were welcoming the Blood King, and dispersed. Tang Zhe's move shocked everyone. This was not just a little strong, but a little abnormal. How much arm strength did that horizontal slash just now require? Get out of the way. Hua Wanyan shouted, jumping down with a shotgun, aiming the gun at Tang Zhe, but in order to increase the hit rate, Hua Wanyan still slightly moved closer to Tang Zhe. Now a bullet is more precious than gold. The younger brothers around cheered when they saw the boss using a gun, in front of hot weapons. What is the knife in your hand? It's just a primitive weapon. Are you the delivery man next to Shimeng? Hua Wanyan suddenly didn't want to kill Tang Zhe just like that. If Tang Zhe could be used for himself, his strength would be infinitely doubled. Tang Zhe hummed, spread his hands and smiled. Yes, I came here to discuss business with you, but your younger brother outside didn't let me use a knife on me. I was also self-defense. Mr. Hua, don't blame me. Hua Wanyan's face twitched. You killed my people, and you want me not to blame you? Is there such a shameless person? What business do you want to discuss with me? Hua Wanyan asked in a deep voice. Just cooperate with me to play a scene, it's very simple. What benefits do I have? Tang Zhe laughed and said, the benefits are your lives. Isn't this business worthwhile? You are fucking kidding me, fuck. Hua Wanyan is not Simmons. He was insulted by a delivery man. No matter if he is a master or not, he just shot him. Looking at Tang Zhe who rushed over, Hua Wanyan shot directly. Bang! Mr. Hua, your shooting skills are not even as good as my cat. Tang Zhe held the muzzle upwards and did not forget to tease. Hua Wanyan looked at Tang Zhe in disbelief. He had just pulled the trigger, but the trigger seemed to be stuck. It was not until the delivery man held the muzzle of the gun and raised it that the trigger was pulled down. Let go. Hua Wanyan shouted in panic, and the younger brothers around him also changed from excitement to nervousness. The gun was actually held by someone else. You are also a boss, can you be smart? After saying that, he kicked Hua Wanyan in the belly, and Hua Wanyan fell to the ground like a cooked shrimp, and his hands loosened, holding the shotgun. The bullet was loaded. I have to kick you before I let go. Why bother, Mr. Hua? The younger brothers were frightened and retreated when they saw the loaded shotgun. They dared not approach. In this doomsday, the deterrent power brought by a gun is really terrifying. Huo Wanyan glanced at the younger brothers around him, and his lips trembled with anger. He was so scared. What are you afraid of? He is alone. There are still 3 bullets in the gun. Kill him and you can pick any woman you want. You will be the boss of a district in the future. Tang Zhe sighed, pointed the gun at Huo Wanyan and said in a deep voice, Mr. Huo, it is really hard to talk business with you. You make me very unhappy. What are you going to do? Huo Wanyan was panicked. What do you think? Huo Wanyan shouted hysterically, kill him. Kill him quickly. Bang. All the brothers holding knives paused for a moment. Their boss. Mr. Huo's face was blown up, bang. Bang. Every shot hit Mr. Huo's face. Blood and brain matter were everywhere. His head was full of blood holes. The brothers were all stunned by Tang Zhe's ruthless method. It's not that he has killed people before, but this killing method is shocking. Who has these few bullets? Lend me a few. Tang Zhe pulled the shotgun. Such a big boss only prepared these few bullets. How many people can he kill? It's really disappointing. The brothers looked at Tang Zhe blankly. Lend you a few bullets. Do you think we are idiots? Brothers, he has no bullets. Whoever kills him will be the boss. Someone in the crowd shouted loudly, this is undoubtedly the most tempting reward. Who among you doesn't want to be the boss? Looking at the crowd coming again, Tang Zhe shook his head helplessly, put his right hand into his trouser pocket, and took out the bullets of the red shotgun. The man in the front was stunned. There were bullets of the shotgun in his trouser pocket. How is this possible? Seeing that Tang Zhe was still loading bullets, the younger brother's eyes suddenly turned red. Whether he could be the boss depended on this. While he hadn't loaded the bullets, he chopped off his head. With a click. Sorry, you are a little slow. Tang Zhe looked at the younger brother with a smile, bang. The younger brother's body was blown away 2 meters by the impact, and blood holes gradually appeared in his chest. The younger brother behind heard the gunshots and panicked immediately. Who said there were no bullets just now? Isn't this asking the brothers to die? Whoever kills me will be the boss. Hurry up, what are you waiting for? Tang Zhe said as he blew up the head of the nearest little brother, and then reloaded with a click. Suddenly another little brother rushed out from behind, and Tang Zhe raised the gun directly, bang. Another little brother fell down, his face was unrecognizable, and his eyeballs were exposed. Who dared to step forward? This guy is simply a pervert. Brothers, go ahead, why are you afraid of him? There are only so many bullets, and we have more people. Chapter 62 Cat Catches Mouse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No one dared to go up after saying this at this time. Several people who wanted to be the boss were lying on the ground. Since you don't go up, don't blame me for killing. Tang Zhe put away his smile and fired directly at the crowd. 4 or 5 people were shot and fell to the ground, wailing continuously. At this time, some people wanted to run, but found that the door could not be opened, as if they were locked in the hall. Even the windows could not be opened. They smashed the glass and wanted to jump out, but it was still raining outside. The special raincoat was still upstairs, listening to the continuous gunshots and wailing behind. Everyone was scared. The delivery man was simply a devil. He was not a human being at all. Killing people is like killing chickens. Brother, don't kill me. I was also held hostage by Mr. Huo. I am a college student. You will be my boss in the future. A young man wearing glasses threw away the knife in his hand and knelt on the ground. Tang Zhe hummed and shot at the head, blood splattered everywhere. Don't think I don't know, you're the loudest. Tang Zhe continued to load the bullets and scanned the hall. There were more than 30 people, and 7 or 8 of them were bleeding and injured. After loading the bullets, Tang Zhe loaded the gun with one hand and shouted jokingly, "They are all hidden, don't let me find them." The remaining about 40 people hid in the box, the toilet, or the kitchen. Everyone was trembling. They were obviously going to chop others. How could this happen? This must be a dream, this must be a dream. Tang Zhe seemed to be playing a cat-and-mouse game, and he seemed particularly interested. He kicked open the door of the box with one foot. There was music playing inside. A woman with disheveled hair was hanging next to it, with her legs in an M shape and her body covered with blood. Tang Zhe walked to the side and found that she was still breathing. She looked like she was only in her 20s, but she was tortured like this. "Beauty, did you see anyone coming in?" That the girl looked at Tang Zhe and the gun in Tang Zhe's hand, and her weak eyes moved to the direction of the toilet next to her. Tang Zhe's mouth showed an arc, and he kicked the toilet door open directly. "Big brother, spare." Bang! Walking out of the bathroom, Tang Zhe smiled at the girl and said, "I'll avenge you." Then he was ready to leave. "Big brother." Tang Zhe looked back in confusion. "What's wrong? Is there anyone else? Can you kill me?" Tang Zhe looked at the girl's situation. Every minute now was torture for her. It was really a sin. Just play with a woman, why torture her like this? Perverted. "Miss, this gun hurts when it hits your body. I'll break your neck." Since he was going to do it, he had to ask the girl's opinion. The girl smiled and nodded. She didn't want to feel any more pain, so she closed her eyes. Tang Zhe put the gun aside and held the girl's head with both hands. With a click, the girl's body completely softened. With a sigh, Tang Zhe picked up the gun and changed to another box. He never expected that there were girls hanging in every box, or tied to the sofa. All of them were covered with bruises. After seeing them, Tang Zhe would say, "They are all beasts." Help the girls get rid of their pain one by one. When he came to the toilet, Tang Zhe was shocked again, and felt that his young heart was hurt. The lower body of a row of people was exposed outside the toilet door. Tang Zhe went to take a look. This might be the